All right. The day has come. Welcome to Fly Fish Live, the grand final between Santeri and Dave O'Donovan. And we have with us a special guest today. We've got Corey Scott from New Zealand, who's managed to get up at 3:30 in the morning to jump up for us. And we got Tom Jarman from Australia as well. And it's, what time is it over there, Tom? 10 to 2 or something?
Yeah, about 2 o'clock. Not too bad.
Awesome. Well,
you guys are crazy.
we've been waiting for this match all of July. It's come down to Santeri and David. Let's head over to Santeri first. Hey mate, how are you?
Very well. I've been compete fishing all day, so I have a good touch now.
How are the conditions over there now?
Not that good.
Not
Water
that good.
is like half a meter up and it's really colored, so let's see what's the effect. I did a little bit pre-fishing, so there are some fish, but hopefully it's enough. Let's see.
Yep. All right. Well, good luck. Dave, how are you, mate?
How you doing?
How's things over there?
Not great. I'm on my third river. The shore is flooded, the Nore is flooded, and the Blackwater is flooded. So I'm on the tributary now of the Blackwater. You might be able to see it there. I don't know from the camera view, but if the river is. Yeah, but look, I do my best. And it's raining right now. It's starting to come down again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good luck, mate. And this is all about the fishing, isn't it? The Mother Nature, you can't help that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And we want to start off by saying a big thanks to our sponsors for making this tournament is what it is today. We've got Piscari Fly. Peter and his team down there have done an absolute awesome job and put in a lot of work with us with this Fly Fish Live tournament. So we want to say a massive thanks to Peter and the guys at Piscari Fly. We've got Icon Fishing Products. We've got Mick Horizon in there jumping on board. Thanks, mate. It's been absolutely awesome. And we've also got Syndicate. They've played a big part in this as well. They've actually donated a new fly rod to one of these two guys, whoever's going to win. So, and there's also some other little prizes that Giant Luca from over there in Islands stepped in and going to donate to the winners. So that's Syndicate. And we've also got Vision. And Vision jumped on board in the last minute and it's been absolutely awesome. So just have to get them in there. Thank you very much for the sponsors and let's get into this competition. All right, we'll let you guys go and get set up. Remember, you've got to start on the deck and remember to hold the fish up, yell out fish, controller says fish, and then away we go. Keep going. I'll jump over to Corey and Tom. Corey, how are you feeling, mate?
Yeah. Good morning, guys. Welcome from the bottom of the world.
Well, I made
It's pretty late. Well, it's pretty early here, isn't it? It's not late. It's probably 50-50.
Drinks are coming.
When I look at what's happening today, I just question why couldn't these floods have happened last week? Even the playing field a little late.
How's
Our side of the earth would always battle in the numbers game, like what these guys have, though. Just never. Yeah. It's tough.
awesome? Now, Tom, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, really good. Still Melbourne, still locked down with COVID. Probably going to go into even stricter restrictions. So, yeah, it's nice to live through these guys.
How are you keeping yourself entertained?
Well, I kept myself up this evening by tying flies until I got your message. So that's kept me awake. But yeah, look, there's not much to do. You can leave the house to shop or exercise pretty much. So yeah, we're lucky it's in our off season when the fishing's a bit slow. So yeah.
And I know down in Tassie there, that in Australia, they started today, the trout season, I think. So they're all...
Would it just open?
Yeah, just opened today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we had great feedback from you guys and all the viewers and stuff. They loved you guys, and we thank you very much for jumping on board this grand final. and any tips or anything like that you can give while the guys are out there fishing. That's wicked. And
We'll roll through it.
we'll roll through it. So can you guys hear me, the controllers?
Yes.
Yeah. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes, and then you guys can get into it. So Corey, when are you off fishing next, mate?
I'll probably have a couple of weeks off just to catch up on things that I missed with all the intel and all the preparation I put into this program here. So a few things got put on the back burner, swept under the carpet, like most of the stuff in my life from the last 8 years. That was the beauty of lockdown here in New Zealand. We went pretty hard and fast, and we couldn't do anything from, I think it was the 24th of March.
Yeah.
Straight away, it was, you couldn't walk. Oh, you could walk around the block, but you couldn't go any further. So what Tom's going through now, we already went through months ago, but unfortunately for us, it happened at a time where we were in our peak fishing season, and probably the best year that New Zealand's ever had in the history of fly fishing, with all the big mouse-eating triple, double-figured browns.
Awesome.
The photos were painful to see. It just looked so good over there.
They opened, the lockdown came off with 2 days of the season to go, and it was flooded.
Damn. What about you, Tom? How long before you think you can get out to go for a fish?
Well, Victoria, our river season opens in a month from now. So we might be, if the lockdown goes on, we might get like another 6 weeks of this. So I don't know, it'll be on a river. It'll be one of the rivers within like an hour and a half of Melbourne. They fish really well as soon as the season opens. Like September, October, early November is like really, really good on the mainland of Australia for the rivers. So that'll be me when I can. Yeah.
All right. So looking at Santeri's water and Dave's water, we saw Santeri in this position last week. Do you think the water level is going to help? He said it's come up.
Looking at Santeri's, keen to hear Corey's thoughts. I mean, I didn't see what it looked like when he was there last time, but you'd probably, I mean, you know, it's warm, but you'd probably expect the fish just to push into that softer stuff if it's come up and the water's risen, like they're still there and they're still catchable. It's just where they're going to be kind of pushed around, like whether they're in that, I'm assuming he's going to catch them on that far side in some of that, in that softer water there, unless he starts like swinging down to find them. But, you know, they'll be there somewhere. They may be a little bit harder in the coloured water, but in the higher water, but yeah, looks okay to nymph still.
Yep. And what about Dave's river there? How's that looking to your eyes?
They're such different waters, so it'll be really interesting. I don't know what the height of that normally is. That looks very similar to some of our rivers in Australia, like the South Esk in Tasmania. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea about that river, so it's hard to comment, but it may be harder for David to find some of the depressions and the pockets that the fish are in if they're obscured by that current and some of the coloured water there. But I mean, depends how much water he's got there. If he finds, I mean, it looks like you're looking for the depressions more in that river because the water's not as broken. So if he can still find them, you'll still find the fish, I reckon.
Nice. Well, I've actually added a few numbers to the scoreboard just in case. After what happened last week, and we're up to 70 on the scoreboard. It wasn't 55, and we outdone it last time. So if they get that, they're doing well. Anyway, let's get into it. You guys down there, fishing guys, are you ready?
Good luck, Santeri.
Yeah. Good luck to both competitors. And remember, this will be a preliminary score. And at the end of it, we will post the final score. We'll go through the game. All right, are we ready?
Ready?
Yep. All right. Got you ready, set, and off you go. Game on.
Fish on, Dave.
Fish on for Dave.
Nice work. Is there any information of what species of fish Santeri is catching?
Fish in the net, yep. And Dave's frozen. That can't be good. And now he's all right.
Back.
Now he's good. That was a very quick one, Dave.
I'd like to know, I'm not sure who's behind the cameras on both people. Corey, you just said it then. I want to know what Santeri's fishing for. If he's got grayling, coarsefish, trout. What's in the river there?
I'll have to ask. Mitä kaloja sä kalastat in English? Yeah, basically everything. They organize yearly a competition in Finland that's 24 hours, and the goal is to catch as many species as possible, and this is the best place to do that. So, like, basically everything.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, so from my experience with Santeri, will be fishing a lot, grayling, trout, as well as whitefish, dace, chub, roach.
Yeah.
They love to hold in these little pieces of slack water, which he's just swung some nymphs through, and now he's going to target the softer water off that current. There we go. He's got a fish. No?
No, lost it.
Fish on, Dave. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net, Dave.
Fish.
Fish for sun.
Santeri's got one.
So I suspect Santeri will just target that soft water off that current there, and he'll just stay there, and he'll just keep milking it until he's finished. It's interesting how many whitefish can hold in a pocket like that.
Fish on for Dave. Fish in the net.
With trout, you might get 2 or 3, 4, 5, sometimes out of pocket. With the whitefish, you can get up to 30.
Yeah.
Double.
Santeri.
Yeah, and that just goes to show what Corey said then. And you can see he's pretty much, his fish, Santeri's fish, are going to be on that. I mean, the current runs into the rock wall, and there's going to be nowhere for them to hold in that fast current for everyone watching back home. So they're all going to be, like Corey said, in that pocket and then on that seam, right where the current flows and that speed is. You'll see his flies are down there where those kind of like where those slack bubbles are hard on the seam.
Yeah, would they be trying to get the nymphs right?
Fish on for Dave.
Fish on for Dave.
Double.
Double.
Single. One gone. One gone. One fish in the net. One fish in the net.
One fish in the net. 4-3.
4-3 to you, Dave.
So with the with say Santeri's water, will he
Take
be
your time. Take your time.
He'll be trying to get that nymph right down to the bottom of the.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, in the slack water, the reason our fish are often down in current, like in a run, is because the current on the top is faster than that on the bottom. In slack water, they can be suspended like anywhere. Sometimes what you get, particularly in some of those places in Europe, when you get dirty water like that, your more active fish are up higher because they can actually, there's more light penetration and they can see the fly better. So sometimes you don't want to be down, but yeah.
Fish on for Dave. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net. Do what about you, Corey, over in New Zealand? Do you find the same thing?
If we got water like what Santeri is fishing in New Zealand, we'd probably catch nothing all day. So, yeah, Europe is.
Fish on for Dave. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net. It's a quick start for Dave.
And having fished in similar conditions in a couple of world championships, I'd rocked up to beach with watercolor like that and just completely freaked out. And next minute you're catching fish in these little pockets. One thing that worked really well though was animating your flies controlled and in a way that it's almost creating.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish pick on for that.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Dave. 7-3.
7-3, Dave.
So is that Peter on the camera there?
It is,
Dave?
yeah. Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Hey.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Corey.
So is this just a little hole with a little lip running behind the
So
tree there?
basically, the kind of water he's fishing here now is it's about 1.5 to 2 foot deep. There's a bit of a color on it, but he's picking out these fish in between the weeds. So we got a lot of kind of weed beds here, and he's just nymphing in between the weeds in the pockets, picking out those fish in between the pockets.
Okay. He's on the move now. Is there a reason why he's just moved on after catching so many fish in one little?
It's that kind of water. It's that kind of water. Fish on.
Santeri's got one.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
Both.
Both.
So it's that kind of water. You give each pocket one cast. If there's a fish there, he's there. If he's not, you move on.
As suspected, Santeri's now moved over to that softer water off that wall. That'll be quite a long cast. So even, you know, a lot of these fish are small, so popping them from that fast water over to him, he could drop a few here, but we'll see how he goes.
Fish on for Dave. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Dave.
Yeah, I mean, as Corey said, both of these guys are fishing. They're fishing for numbers. They're fishing for small fish. So they're going to be. They ideally want to be fishing as close to them as they can.
Fish on for Dave. Gone. Dropped.
Because I mean, the closer you are to the fish, the better contact and control you have in your cast and your presentation. And then when you have that fish on, you're going to get probably a better hook set because you're closer and you can get him in more easily. There's less risk of him coming off.
Absolutely, and in a position where Dave is with fishing amongst all these weeds, you know, he can't afford for a fish to get any kind of control. He's got to lift him straight out of the pocket into the net.
Many nice ones in through that stuff there.
Yeah, they're averaging around 30 centimeters. They're decent enough fish, like, and there's occasional bigger.
Santeri's getting in.
Santeri could return to the spot and pick up another 2 or 3 straight away. Those white fish will recirculate.
Yep.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net. 10-4.
10-4, Dave.
Probably, yeah, worth noting for like everyone watching at home, the water that David's in there, like it looks with the glare, it doesn't look like, if they missed what Peter said earlier, what it looks like, it doesn't look like there's much structure or anything, but it's quite flat. The current's relatively uniform, but the structure is the pockets and the weed here. So
yeah,
like it's probably, there's no point in him casting.
Fish on for Dave. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
There's no point in him just casting. He's not fishing blind there.
Fish. Santeri. Yep.
No, every cast has to be calculated. You got to hit that spot. Some of them pockets are only a couple of inches wide.
And the weed there, Peter, is it strong weed that he could catch up on?
Yeah, if he catches up on that stuff, he's going to have to go over and pick out the nymphs.
Fish.
Or even worse, if he gets a fish gets snagged in a dropper maybe, or the actual fish gets down into it, he's going to have to wade over and poke that fish out. It's not something you're going to just pull the nymphs out of. You've got to be, you know, he's got a real accuracy and precision.
And he's fishing 2 nymphs?
Yeah.
2 nymphs, yeah.
My exact question.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net. Now we've got Aidan Gill jumped on here and said fishing companies have you to use a wading shaft or no? Is it in the rules?
12,
So you can,
to you.
so you can use a wading
Fish
staff.
fish on for Dave.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish in the net.
Oh, he's off to a flyer. Old ball.
So you can, yeah, you can absolutely use a wading staff. A lot of people choose not to, because if you imagine your wading staff's like attached to your hip, then they've got nets hanging down there, and if they hook a fish, like it's so important to have good control with your net to be able to land that fish quickly. Wading staffs almost get in the way, and they tangle up your line when you're using your left hand. If you strip down onto the water, it just causes a lot of hassle like that. So if you absolutely don't have to use a wading staff, you'll find most competitors don't. Or if they do, they'll use it to cross the river and then they'll put it away. But in this sort of current and pace, yeah, there's not really much of a need.
Thanks for
I
that.
hope that answers that.
Hope that helps, Aidan. Santeri's he's not going like it was last week at the moment. That be due to the water levels?
Yeah, probably.
Hard fish push around, they move, they can't see it as well, can't find it as well.
Fish.
There's one.
Well, if he gets onto a little stool there, you'll find out how they circulate Corey. If they get onto a little stool, how many could they find? Like 10, 20, 30 fish in one stool, or more?
There, yeah. Corey, you go.
My first experience fishing for whitefish, I shared this with you earlier, Josh. I was given a little pocket, only a tiny little pocket size of a big office desk. And I thought I'd milked it clean of fish for 3 browns. And our guide came in and pulled out 27 whitefish under our nose. So that taught us a lot about what's in there that you don't know and how easy they are to catch, and they do come back. So if you can find those pockets, and if Santeri can get onto one of those, he can just pop fish, and he'll be popping doubles every cast. He's just got to find them.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He might have, like, there may be more like there would have been more fish where he started. They just may not be active now. They may not be on. He could go back there with like different tippet, different bead colors, a single nymph
13-7.
instead of double.
Take your time. Take your time.
And then, you know, he could jump in there and suddenly they'll be on. And he'll catch more of them. Like
Fish.
Santeri.
So at any stage, it could just, like a switch could flick for him and he'll go bang, 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 bang really quickly. Whereas you'd expect like wild brown trout, they're going to be consistently, you'd expect there'd be 1, maybe 2 or 3 fish in each lovely pocket, but he's going to have to keep moving through there and it won't refish as well as Santeri's water would there.
Yep. So basically, Santeri might not have to move far at all. Like we saw in his last game, he only had to go 30, 40 metres. But Dave's probably covered, what, 100 metres by now?
Yeah. So he's hooked a better one there, Santeri. He's got it.
Yeah, fish.
Fish.
He had a double but lost one.
It looked
And
like his rod was loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, that's water he fished from above earlier and swung down through or like fed his flies into, and he's come down, fished from it from a different angle and then hooked them. So, you know, that's something he can do. He can attack his water from a lot of different angles.
Fish.
Yep, fish. Yeah, so if you caught a couple of fish in that one spot, and then you haven't hooked up for a little while, and you swing around, come at a different angle, can that like trigger them up? Can it?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that line, every cast you
Fish.
ever make, that he's got another.
Fish.
Look, your line can never enter the current and the water at the same angle. So it's always going to achieve a slightly different drift and get to a different spot or do something different. So yeah, the more variation you can give, the better, and the more chance you have.
What's Peter? What sort of how many flies has Dave got on down there?
So he's on two nymphs,
Two
a
nymphs?
3.5 on the point and a 3 mil on the dropper.
Yep.
That's heavy.
See, he's working up the riding close to the bank. There's
Fish on,
fish on,
fish in the net.
fish in the net. 14-11.
14-11, Dave.
Yksi olisi
Peter,
like
how
a
much
fish.
higher is this river?
Fish.
Santeri
Yeah,
just got one.
fish for Santeri.
Fish for some food. Yep.
That's a better fish Dave's got there, Peter.
Yeah, he was a nice fish. Yeah, about 30, 32 centimeters.
Double.
Double. What's the level? 14-0.
Nyt on tasan.
Nice when you have a double header and you can do what Santeri did there. Is if you have your small one on the top, land that bottom one, and the top one you can just drop into the net. Whereas if you have that
Fish for Santeri. It looks like he might
Yeah.
have found that.
Yeah,
little-
he actually has 3 flies.
nice. There you go.
Yeah.
What's it? Yeah.
I mean, we can't see on the camera that well, but I'd like to see Dave head back to this current and just target the softer seam off to the side.
Yeah.
That's really slow water to fish what he's just been in. He's chewed up a lot of time.
The
Fish on.
drifts would be
Fish on.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Dave.
15 all, Dave.
It's game on.
And that's often the question you've got to ask yourself as a competitor approaching water is, there may be fish in there, but is it going to be too slow a catch rate?
Yep.
Often you'll be like, maybe 1 or 2 casts as you walk through, and if you don't want to be spending time in that sort of slower water.
How long would you give it?
Well, in this format, I'd give it 1 cast.
Yep.
you can see how many fish they've got in front of them. So it's all, if you only needed to catch, say, 10 fish, you're going to give each of those spots more attention, more time. But if you need big numbers, you're going to go quick. You're going to move really quickly.
See, I'm suspecting Santeri's still searching for fish and pods of fish, and he'll come back to those spots. Yeah.
Yep.
Peter, how much further can Dave continue on this stream?
Yeah, we can go up quite a good bit. The river gets broken up just ahead of us, and it goes into a couple of different fingers. So he shouldn't have to double back. He should be on fresh water for the hour. How much time has gone, Josh?
The time is 43 minutes, 50 seconds left.
43 minutes left, Dave.
Is that a coffee or a tea, Corey?
Black, thick black coffee.
Black coffee with like triple shots.
I set it all up last night before I went to bed, so all I had to do was throw the hot water on.
Double.
Double for Santeri. There's a little break there.
And now Dave's swinging back through the water he's already fished, so he's starting to have to work a little too much for my liking. I'd like to see him start to move.
Yep.
If he's got water available.
Yeah.
Fishing for wild browns, as Tom mentioned earlier, you've got 1 or 2 shots at them fresh, and then they turn off.
Yeah. After Dave's start, would you race back to where he started if it was you, or would you just keep moving up that river?
Well, I don't know the river but I do know he's fishing for wild browns. I'd just keep moving. Fresh water.
Yeah.
Fresh drifts.
Yeah, if they're in multiple water types, it looks more broken and braided up there, but if he can find the soft water or the pockets in that stuff up there, they should be there. Like you saw the rate he was catching them early. You wouldn't want to, you just think, it looks like if he has a fish in front of him that wants to eat, or he has a fish in front of him and he gets his fly in front of it, he's going to catch it. So just find those fish. Don't try and work at those fish that, are tougher, that don't want to eat. So, he's slowed up. He must be feeling the pressure a little, because not the pressure, just in his head, he would be going, oh gosh, I should have caught them here. I know they are here or should be here, and he's not catching them. And it makes you want to put more drifts in. But, sitting on the outside, it's a lot easier to go, well, there surely can't be as many there as there were down there, because the water from where we're sitting, it doesn't look that different. It's probably a little slower, which will take longer to fish because the drifts are slower. It's a bit more tedious, but just compared to the start, they were just stacked in there in the pockets.
This looks like really nice water though that he's in now. There's a little foam line coming down there, or is that a glare line?
You'd be throwing nymph under dry up there if you were in Australia, that's for sure.
Been not many. Little white patch. So was that a little backwater that Dave was fishing there?
Fish.
Yeah, it's just one of the fingers.
Yeah.
Fish on for Dave.
Jump for Dave. Found him again.
Fish in the net.
In the net.
Good fish.
I thought that hook was going to pull then.
Yeah, nice fish, nice fish. Yeah. Beautiful yellow belly brown trout. Here, fish on for Dave. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net. What's Dave?
Yeah, fish in the net.
Fish in the net, yep.
And you see what Corey was saying before, you find the pocket of them and they're there. He's literally just turned around and then gone bang, bang in the same spot. So you'd probably, your question to both of us before, you just keep moving, keep trying to find them. If you find fresh fish, they're going to come in really quickly.
It's slow, yeah. Fish on for Dave.
Jump for Dave.
This is a good trout now. Yeah, nice fish.
Yeah.
Well done, Dave. Beautiful brown trout. Irish gold, guys. Irish gold. 18-21 to him.
We've seen in all other games that how quickly scores can change, and you could be quite
Take your time.
Fish.
All of a sudden you're behind again.
Hey, while we've got Santeri in front of us, what species of fish is he catching there? Do you know?
This is a white fish.
White fish.
Whitefish. I'm not sure if you guys can see back home, but it looks here, he's actually swinging his flies and just figure eighting them really slowly to keep the contact.
Yeah. Is that because of the size of the fish?
Just helps, yeah, just control, gives it a little bit of movement as it comes across the current. There, he's
Fish.
got one there.
Fish.
And it also, when you're swinging flies, it also sometimes it feels nice just to feel like you're actually doing something when it probably doesn't make too much of a difference.
I was suspecting how clean Dave's run would be with all these overhanging trees and trying to get right in underneath them there. And I see he's just caught up. Luckily, he hasn't busted his
Fish.
Fish.
Yeah, it can be tricky, all right.
Is that where you find a lot of the trout, like under overhanging trees? Is that where they like to sit? Is that where you fish for them first? Or?
I'll
Who you
always
asking?
target those little depressions just where the lip rolls in. A lot of times, just the way the water pulls around the river with the geography of it, that's where the trees grow out.
Looking at Santeri's net configuration there, he looks like he's got it on a strap around him almost.
Yeah, he has kind of a strap around his shoulder and
Yeah.
fish. And then he has kind of a bungee cord thing on the handle.
Fish on for Dave.
Bungee cord, or is it like a zinger?
Fish in the net.
It's like a cord, a bungee cord thing.
Oh, wow. I like it.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
These,
Yeah, it's an Icon product.
yeah, it's
Oh,
the
lovely.
Fish.
fish in the net.
I like that.
You can find those nets from Mick Horizon at Icon Fishing Products. A lot of the guys over here.
Fish.
Fish.
How's that for a setup for a plug there, Josh? You can see in the light really well now because we've got the glares cut out by that tree on David's water. You can actually see the pockets he's fishing into, like the weed gaps there. You can see the green, then you can see the gaps really clearly for once.
Fish on for Dave. Fish in the net.
Fish.
Fish. 28-20.
Dave spoke of the rise in the river levels, and what I'm suspecting here is you've got two places. You've got these deeper holes and depressions where the fish will come and congregate and sit, and then my next favourite spot is the heads, right where the water comes in. They can just sit there effortlessly and just still carry on feeding. So I'm expecting Dave to start picking up a lot more fish up in this head here on the right-hand side.
Well, that's a nice fish. Better fish for Santeri.
Fish.
Fish.
Take your time, Dave. Take your time.
Yeah. So Santeri is standing just next to a big hole. There's usually like a super big trout living there.
His little pet one. Mark Drivers just jumped on and said he's got the Icon net carrier too. Best piece of kit I've ever invested in. Super fast draw.
There you go.
And like we've been saying all the way through the tournament, people have been asking about the nets and about how fast you need to be in this style of fishing.
It's, you know, one of the best things is just having your net connected permanently in some way, because so many magnets, I've seen so many nets like in Australia that have like fallen off the back, or they've got it hooked on and they have to physically unclip it. Like having a system where you can draw it and then release it and it zings back in some way is just so, it just makes life so easy. Fishing's hard enough as it is. So you just want things that make it simpler and more efficient for you.
Fish. Yeah, the negative part, I have the same net and I'm a bit shorter than Santeri, is that if you're wading in quite deep and really strong current, then the nets kind of can drag you. So you just have to be aware of that and keep the net in your hand so that the cord doesn't automatically kind of stretch.
Can you add like does it clip on and off to the bungee?
What time is it, Josh?
No.
How are we doing on time?
We have 33 minutes.
Fish.
33 minutes.
33 minutes left. You're 11 down, Dave.
No, it's just the bungee cord. So that's why Santeri has two different kind of net sizes, and that's why he's using the smaller one today, so that he's more kind of free to wade.
Do you think we'll see Santeri go for a swim?
No.
Fish
Maybe.
on for Dave.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for both.
It is like one of the most nerve-wracking things wading in a dirty river when you don't know what's in front of you. And you're like feeling with your toe, just kind of like tapping around going, ugh. But he probably knows the river so well. He probably knows each rock and each pocket.
Yeah, this is Santeri's home river, so he's been fishing here for forever. It's 10 minutes
Fish
from our
on for
house.
Dave.
Fish on for Dave. Good one.
Yeah, nice fish. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
And about 35 cm, maybe a little more.
Heaps of time still. Heaps and heaps of time.
A. Fish.
Fish.
Yeah, so the problem with Santeri's tree flies is that they get caught pretty easily in the net.
Yep. Ian Jones said if there's big trout where Santeri's fishing in the pool, send Corey in it, he'll nail it. And Rob,
Pay for the ticket, mate. I'll be there.
Robbie Fallon said good point when wading deep, fast water with a net system like that. Need to be careful.
It's actually a good comparison. You'll see, I reckon over there, David's got
Fish
a
on
kind
for
of a
Dave.
similar one to I have. Yeah. Is he got? I'll wait for that fish to be landed.
Fish gone.
He's got the retractor up here on his back, up there. So it pulls down and then you can net a fish and then let it go and it zings back up, which is, yeah, really good for like that dirty, the high water situation there. That's why I actually asked, I haven't got your name, sorry, but Santeri's controller, if it clips off, because you could actually go between a retractor off your like neck and your back and then go between the two setups if you're going from deep to shallow water.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just one mode, kind of. But now you can see he's not waist deep, but almost. So like half of the net is in the water, kind of dragging. But as long as you get used to it, and then it's super easy to use. So, and you're maybe more fish. You're maybe even more aware of your wading kind of then, and your balance with the net.
We got
Fish on for Dave.
fish on for
Fish in
Dave.
the
Fish in the net. We got 29.5 minutes left.
Ages and ages.
Double.
Centuries.
29.5 minutes left, Dave, and you're 10 down. Take your time. Loads of time.
Sulla on 29 minuuttia 35 sulle 23.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish in the net.
Okay.
Corey, this is what you were saying, that you thought that Dave might pull a few from this area.
Yeah, I mean,
Now he has a big
especially the
fish.
pressure's on, so
Oh.
Oh hell.
He's got a big fish. See?
Break him or just come off?
Fish.
I still got it.
Fish for Santeri.
Fish in the net.
Yeah.
Is this as painful for you, Corey, as it is for me?
I actually really enjoy watching the two different types of approaches, two different fishermen, two different types of water.
Is this,
Yeah, It's
Santeri-
rare, Josh.
Yeah,
Oh, go on. You go.
Santeri's been competing all weekend and he won the competition that was held today. So he hit the river sharp. He was already in the mode to just carry on. It was like probably, a fourth or fifth session for him.
Fish.
fish.
Go on. It's weird, Josh, for for Corey and myself or any comp angler, when we go to the
Sulla on
world,
37, silloin 24.
we translation, Josh.
I was yelling out the scores.
When we go to the worlds, like I've competed against Corey for like 4 years now, and I've actually never seen him fish. And it's the same with all of us. We never actually, you hear about all these other guys and results they get in
Fish.
countries and internationally.
Yeah.
But, we have no idea what they actually look like on the river.
Do watching this, you two guys as competitors, watching other guys fishing like this, does this give you tips, or when you come up against them again in competition, does this sort of makes you think a bit more like how they fish, if you're fishing with them or against them?
Yeah, the thing that I pull most out of this is how they each approach the water and where they're actually getting fish.
Fish on for Dave. Fish in the net.
So let's say I went to Finland for the World Championships next year, which I'm not planning on doing, but maybe Tom is. He's already got a bit of an intel from watching this.
Yeah.
Is this a venue for the competition?
This is in Helsinki.
Yeah, this is in Helsinki.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is the other part of the country. So
Yeah. The other venue.
Got to fly through Helsinki at some point.
yeah.
The first game he had against Lionel, that was one of the venues.
Fish.
Yeah.
Fish.
Or probably not one of the venues, but one of the training beats,
One of the
most likely. But they haven't decided yet, I think.
Yeah, I think, Josh, like Corey said, you look at the water that they're fishing and you think, how would I approach that compared to what they're doing? And then it kind of gives, fishing's, as we all know, it's all about experience and time on the water, and watching really good fishermen, you can learn
Fish on for Dave.
Come for Dave.
So you're learning vicariously. You're actually gaining more experiences for yourself by seeing how
Fish
they
in the
caught
net.
fish in that type of water.
Yep.
The one big thing you see as an Australian, watching Europeans fish, not so much in the UK on their rivers,
Fish.
or Ireland, sorry, but when you look at like continental Europe and their bigger rivers, and you look at their grayling and their coarse fish, you see and their big rivers, you see how often anglers fish downstream, which just isn't something we do so much over here.
Fish.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
So both anglers are at the top of their game. The conversion rate's really high. I think Santeri's maybe dropped 2 or 3 and Dave's dropped the one. As far
One,
as
I
I'm
think.
aware.
Yeah, he's only dropped one so far. Fish on for Dave.
27 fish.
Fish
It's
in the
amazing.
net.
Fish in the net.
They must be eating well.
Fish.
Fish.
I think Santeri has dropped maybe 5 or 6.
He had a couple of doubles where one's come off, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But Tom mentioned earlier angles. He talked about angles, and that's one of the big key features of competitive fly fishing. And it teaches you a lot of recreational anglers will come up to a pool and they'll just fish through it, and then they're done, they move on. Whereas the competitive nature and being able to extract everything out of a small section of water
Fish.
forces you to change your angles, and you can learn a lot from that. It's only a matter of sometimes a meter. Sometimes it's a matter of going right down, crossing the river, coming in from another
Fish on for
side.
Dave.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net. Yeah, because that's a pretty interesting point for like someone like myself, pretty novice, that when out fishing, you just cast your line in, nothing there, you move on. But you guys will cast the line in, change angle, cast again.
Santeri's got a nice one, is he?
Yeah,
It's a better
fish.
Fish.
Yeah, that was already a nice size.
Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
what weight rod Santeri is fishing? Is it a 1 or a 2 weight?
Fish on for Dave. Fish in the net.
He said it's a kind of a weird fish or a special fish. Sorry, what did you ask?
The weight of rod that Santeri is running.
I think it's a soldarini. No idea what kind of fish.
Fish.
You have to ask him afterwards.
43, 30.
Yeah, it would be, if they're happy to, Josh, it would be cool to just get a rundown at the end of like rod size, rod length and weight,
Yep.
and then tippet diameter, and then and maybe even fly weight. Probably it's going to change though, but just to get people back home a feel of the diameters they're fishing and why. Yeah.
We'll pull them to the side at the end of it and see what they were using.
Pump them for information, Josh.
That one. Was that a spectator?
Fish.
Fish.
Yeah, so we're here with friends who's drinking beer on the terrace. Yeah.
I had a beat very similar in Slovakia, and there was a bar there, and this guy was throwing bread down into the beat, and all of a sudden,
Fish on
all
for Dave.
the stocky rainbows
Fish in the
locked
net.
Fish in the net.
locked onto those slices of bread, and they wouldn't eat my flies.
I heard about your pop rad beep.
So there's 21 and a half minutes left.
21 and a half minutes, Dave.
See, Dave's, I mean, he's behind by 15, but he's pulled back he's pulled it back quite a bit.
Yeah.
In that little patch of fish there.
He's still
He's probably also getting killed by the fact that Santeri's catching doubles and multiples without moving. He's able to catch doubles, sit and really, find a patch of them, find a nice current, and then go whack, whack, whack. Whereas, it's hard for David to catch 2 fish in the same spot at the moment.
Fish on for Dave.
Come for Dave.
It's a good trout.
Well, these are the sort of moments that you get really nervous when you got a
Horrible.
Fish in the net.
fish in the net.
The longer you play that fish, the more chance he's got of rolling on the hook and popping it.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So, Peter, what nice fish. Looks like Dave's fishing possibly a 3-weight.
Dave was on a 2-weight. Dave was on the syndicate pipeline 2-weight. He's fishing 0.12 tippet because the water's slightly coloured, you can get away with that heavier tippet. So he's on 0.12 and he's on a 2-weight rod.
Thank you.
Just
See,
switching rods there now.
In this part of the world, there's not a lot of people that embrace this. So any of the rivers that are full of small fish, they just don't fish them.
Yeah.
The typical New Zealand rod is a 6-weight, sometimes even an 8-weight. You take out a 2-weight, 3-weight rod, and all these rivers open up a great sporting chance. Fishing light tippets, it's just super fun. So.
Well, you saw the Tongariro, Corey, in the Commonwealth. Like, as you'd know, how many nice, like, medium-sized fish there are that you don't hear about or read about.
Yeah.
And that's like anywhere else in the world, you'd go, that's amazing.
Sulla on 19 minuuttia. 19 minuuttia.
19 minutes left. And
What
Santeri going for a
here
beer.
though is, what's that, mate?
I said Santeri's going for a beer.
Drinks break.
I suspect he's going up to the spot he fished the other day.
We're changing rods, apparently.
Yep. He's going to try and hook that big one.
Nah.
Is that a really deep hole in front of him there? Is that that run really deep?
Maybe 3 meters in front of him is, I would say it's maybe 2 meters deep.
Yeah, that's deep.
Fish.
How many numbers did you bring, Josh?
Well, I've got up to 70, mate. I had to go and restock the scoreboard. Hopefully I've got enough.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
What time is left, Josh?
The time is 17 and a half minutes left.
Yeah, 17 and a half minutes left, Dave. You're 14 behind. Loads of time. Come on.
33 trout. I mean,
I wouldn't like hearing that. You got 17 minutes and you're 14 behind. Good luck.
That's called motivate. Bit of motivation there to
hey,
fish on for Dave.
fish on.
Santeri starting to recirculate through the
Fish
same
in the
water
net.
he started on.
Fish.
Whereas if Dave can run into another pot of fresh run like he started with, he can start to peg that back, and it's surprising. You'd be surprised how fast that can happen.
Yeah, good point from Corey. You've got like fresh fish. They're going to come quicker than refishing water typically, unless he finds a pocket of them that he didn't find before, or they just shuffled in or something.
How often would you get the same fish take the flyer? Would it take once, twice, 3 times?
Fish.
Oh, you get them to eat. I mean, every fish.
Mikä?
We always need to remember fish are individuals, so they're all going to be different. Some fish will eat multiple times in a row. Some fish you'll catch like an hour after you caught him before. But definitely you can miss him.
Fish
and
for
then come
Dave.
back.
Fish in the net.
Fish.
Yeah, so
You can miss them and then come back to them and you'll catch them not long after. But the smaller the fish is, typically the more likely that is to happen. Like the larger fish are a bit tougher like that.
yeah.
So you asked about species in the beginning. He just got a chub.
Hey. So it's been chub and whitefish for Santeri.
Yeah, and probably a lot of others as well.
Is Santeri just knitting his nymphs, or is he wetlining?
Fish.
Fish.
What'd you say, Corey?
Looks like Santeri could be wetlining, or is he just knitting his nymphs?
I have no idea what that means.
Fish for Dave.
Fish for Dave.
Fish for Dave.
I don't either, don't worry.
And fish for Santeri.
He's got current going through there. It looks like he's just figure eighting back up through that soft water. Or like holding them in the current there.
Mm.
Hey, so Josh, while we got a break in the action, are you going to do another one of these?
Are we going to do another one? Yes. Just to let you know that now the Fly Fish Live has been born, it's been a great success so far, and yeah, there will be another series coming, and not too far away.
Oh, now he has a big one.
Now he's got
probably.
a big one.
Oh yeah,
That's a good fish.
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 Fish for Dave. Fish in the net.
And that. Yeah, so
Ooh, what is that?
we'll be getting you guys over there in Australia involved as well.
Because they all-
That big chub. Big
So
chub.
this is a bream, apparently.
Wow.
Huh?
That is awesome. Yeah. Yes,
that
Josh. Well, yeah, Australia. I know. Yeah, a couple of the boys in Australia are keen. I don't know whether I should share my thoughts with you now, live, or after, because I have a good idea that would make it more interesting in Australia.
We have just so you know we have tweaked it a little
Fish
bit.
for Dave. Fish in the net.
Fish for Dave.
Is this one of those surf life-saving club ideas, Tom, where they yell a beer and eat a sausage and then catch a fish and then
Fish.
I know I'd never be able to catch any numbers. So I reckon it would be really cool. And it's just a thought. I love my bass fishing in America. Seeing your bag of your biggest 5 would be really cool. Something like that would be interesting. So it doesn't matter how many you catch, but it's your 5 longest that score for the session. So you'd see different techniques and styles. Like rather than nymphing for numbers, you'd see some dudes throw some streamers. They would throw dries at rising fish in pools. It would be different. But it's just a thought. But I'll do it. I'll do whatever, Josh. I just want to be on the river right now.
All feedback is good, and we've taken all feedback into consideration. Ready for the next.
What's time's left, Josh?
Fish.
12 minutes left.
Santeri's gone. You'd like the big fish one, Corey?
oh, I'd love it, mate. Sign me up.
Five biggest bag. You could put a pack on and go for a walk down on the South Island, or a spring creek up your way.
Yeah. No, there's lots of different things we can do, but this is a great initiative just to, one, in this moment in time and what's happening in the world, what's happening for you.
Yeah.
And just to bring it into the lounge room of just Joe Blow. There's a lot of people who've had really good positive feedback. They've never understood competition fishing, and this has given them a little taste.
Yeah. I think people realize that competition fishing isn't just about the competition, is the other cool thing. Like, we're seeing so much, we're learning so much from all around the world. Like, there's so much more to it than like the catching of the fish.
Yeah, so we will get back to that. Getting back to that next series, there are quite a few things that are going to be updated and stuff like that. We've got Robbie Fallon that he's just given us a tip there. Tips small screen for the commentators, large screen for the anglers.
Time's left, John.
Time's left 11 minutes. So,
11 minutes, Dave.
Just to let you know, Robbie, that is one of the points that we've got down already. So
What is it?
You're saying about trying to make the screens a bit smaller for the commentators and bigger screens for the competitors. We've found all these little fish, and it's great to get all the good feedback and stuff. So more feedback, the better, and the better Fly Fish Live can become.
Corey, I don't think they like our image. I think we need to improve ourselves to make it more aesthetically pleasing for the audience.
Maybe a Borat costume next time.
We could don a suit or something, make it a little bit more flash. Put a bow tie on Josh. I'd like to see that.
Get a set of those rugby league commentator headphones.
The cricket ones.
Fish for Dave.
Fish for Dave.
Double for Dave.
Double for Dave.
Come on, Dave.
Mulla on
Come on,
10
Dave.
minuuttia.
Come on.
There's 9
Tää on
minutes.
57:40.
How many has Santeri caught any trout down there?
Ootko saanut mitään taimenta? No.
No.
No, he had a big one on, maybe like 70, 75 centimeters, but yeah,
Yeah.
he lost
Shark.
it.
9 minutes 15.
5 minutes 15, Dave.
9 minutes.
9 minutes. Sorry, 9.
Hey, Peter, what region of Ireland's this river in?
Fish.
Fish.
This is down the south of Ireland. It's a tributary to the Blackwater River, which would be down in County Cork.
I want to go. It looks awesome.
Are these fish
Yeah.
resident, Peter, or have they moved
Yeah,
up?
these are all wild brown fish. They're here. There's no stocking programs on any of these.
But are
any of
they
these
normally
rivers.
are they normally in these numbers in the stream, or have they moved up because of the high water?
They've probably moved around a bit because of the high water that's gone through, but they're generally residents in the area. To be the Irish strain of brown trout would be very territorial, and they would tend to hang around in the same area. You know, they'd have a protective line, a predominant line in that area. Once the floods come in, they might move into some of the deeper water and more protective lies, but they're generally in their residents and stay in the area all year round until they migrate.
And what's the mature size?
Sorry, what was that?
What's the mature
Fish.
size?
Fish.
You can get fish in it up to a couple of pound weight, but averaging 30 centimeters. There's a lot of competition for food.
Yeah, Tom mentioned the Tongariro River, which is a world famous river here in New Zealand. And about 10 years ago, it started to fish really poorly and it came down to just too much population. So they decreased the legal size limit and upped the bag limit. And now this year's the best season I've had in living memory. So it's worked.
7 minutes. And it's 59:40.
Fish.
Fish
60.
60. Now that's when we started this, would not have thought that someone would get 60 fish. And Corey, you had a little story about what about that little story you told me about 10-minute stop and the wife was tooting the horn at you. How many did you get?
Oh, that story. Yeah. So I went to the same stream I competed on a couple of years back.
7 minutes to go, Dave.
And it's a little bit coloured. And I had 20 minutes. The wife allowed me 20 minutes parked on the bridge.
In the dirty pocket.
And I got 26 fish in the 20 minutes. So that's going for New Zealand.
And that's a decent size over there, mate.
Yeah. But I always knew what was Europe rivers were capable of, especially these with the grayling and the whitefish. Tom mentioned that pop rag
Fish.
beat I had during practice in the lower river. We were pulling out 100, 110 fish in an hour. But the reality of it, the competition, none of those would have counted at the 20 centimeter mark. So this competition here, we always knew what could possibly, if they got onto that water, what sort of numbers they could throw up, and they are.
Fish.
Fish. Yeah, all you viewers out there, keep all your comments coming in and little ideas that you'd like to see that might be updated for the next series. We'll take everything into consideration and we'll go through it. And
Fish for Dave.
Fish for Dave. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be excited to see the next series.
Get some of the Southern Hemisphere boys in, Josh. It'll be awesome.
Fish.
Fish for Santeri.
Tom's just going to go and catch one fish and entertain everyone with a Murray River cod.
That's what Lubin would do. No, I could see, yeah. I think the river like the Stevenson or the Upper Yarra out of Melbourne that runs in through Melbourne, but go like 80 k's up. Be a lovely river, smallish and good imagery. But I would like to see Josh in a tuxedo presenting next time. I would make it.
Hey, he looks a lot better than what he did earlier in the night in his singlet.
You're 41.
4 minutes left.
Fish. Fish for Santeri.
Fish for Santeri. Oh.
So Josh, I have a friend with a clicker behind me, and he has one more fish than you have on your board. So I'm pretty sure I had on mute, maybe 5 minutes in or something.
I'll look into that one.
Yeah.
It may come down to the wire, so we might need that.
64-41.
Fish on for Dave.
Jump for Dave.
Looks like a nice one.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
Peter, has Dave got his net tied up?
Yeah, he's just got it on a zinger on his back.
Has he got the actual mesh tied up and shortened?
No, it's just kind of way it folds. But Dave has fished these kind of competitions before. We fished a very similar competition in Italy, the Piala Cup, which is all about putting the fish in the net. And the trick to it is just drop the fish till it hits the bottom of the net and then lift the fish straight out of it. It saves that fish sometimes getting tangled up, or the dropper fly maybe getting tangled up in it. He's just got a really different technique in netting those fish.
It's a good one. It's so good for the fish too.
Yeah,
Like,
get him in, get him out quick. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Are the lads using French leaders fishing?
Fish in the net for Dave.
Fish in the net.
Come on, Dave. Big push.
Fish.
I don't want to speak on their behalf and Corey chime in, but they're probably using all the leaders, the nymphing leaders now have kind of evolved and they've all merged in from Czech, French, Spanish, Polish. They've all kind of converged to come into the same rough style, minimal taper, good contact. So they're all thereabouts. So the answer is probably yes.
Yeah.
They're all effectively, be it French, Spanish, they're all very, very similar. Like pretty much all those teams now, the French and the Spanish using the same brand of line straight through. So they're all thereabouts.
Yep. We've got 1 minute 40 to go.
1 minute 40 to go, Dave.
Can Dave grab another
Fish.
one? Fish for Santeri. Tell you what, I was lucky to go and get those more numbers.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish on for Dave.
Fish in the net for Dave.
Fish in the net.
Tell you what, 44 trout is an amazing effort. 44 brown trout.
His conversion rate though has been exceptional. I think he's dropped maybe 1-2 fish for the entire. He's probably met maybe in total. He's probably hit 50 fish. He's put 44 to the net. So that conversion rate is just outstanding.
Yeah, that's extreme.
Just under a minute to go.
Come on, Dave.
Minute.
One more.
Would the fish in Santeri's area there, would they be sitting on that back wall, fish for Santeri? Where that faster water is? Or
Probably there's no need for them to be in the fast water really. They're more likely to be on the seam or even in that slacker stuff there. It's all about, for a fish, it's all in a river.
15 seconds. Fish. Yep.
It's all about the intake of energy versus the expenditure of energy. So if he doesn't need to be working
Fish
that
in the net.
fast stuff.
Fish for Dave.
Fish for Dave.
Time up.
A great whistle. Game.
boys.
Look at the fish. Hold on to them. Over.
Wow.
Typical wild brown trout.
Oh, look at that one. Irish gold.
Well done, Dave.
Awesome job, guys.
Well done, boys.
I don't know. 45.
45 to 68. As we said, as we were just saying, 45 trout. That's outstanding. And we're in the only 3 fish.
That midsection did the fish fish out.
Okei, sä saat ottaa ne tän itse.
Let's just grab Dave. If you can grab Dave. Yeah, Dave.
We're just going to move a little bit there away from the rapids. We can't hear you rightly, Josh. We're going to move for a second just to get over to a bit of quieter water.
Yep.
Hey, Santeri, you said the fishing was going to be tough in the dirty water.
Yeah. It was almost no roach at the moment there, so it was all sort of fish, but mostly perch this time.
Really?
Nice. Well done, Santeri. 68 fish, mate. Were you expecting that number?
Yeah.
There you were. We got a question. Tom was saying before, if you could give us a rundown on what gear we're using, like what size rod.
Yeah. I had 3 different kind of setups rigged, so I tried to fish the best spots with all those gears. So I had 1 to 2 rods. So when that big trout took my flies, it was just woof, and gone immediately. And so I was mostly concentrating smaller fish. I had 0.12 tippet in all the rods, so a little bit, well, like normal to 1 to 2 rods. And I was using 3 flies, and I had 3 different sets. So I didn't change my flies during the comp. I changed rods. Like I tried to fish 20 minutes one rod, 20 minutes one rod, and 20 minutes one. I don't know if I succeeded, but about that. And yeah, I had basically like one really little fly, then a medium size, and then a little bit bigger.
And a question came in. They were saying like we're using a French style leader. You're just using, a nymphing leader, pretty like straight.
Yeah, 0.18 nymphing leader and Solerini nymphing lines.
Yeah. So for like that's 0.18. You're talking that's for like everyone in Australia or America or overseas, Southern Hemisphere. We're talking that's like 3x is sort of that zone. 3x, 4x.
Yeah. So that was the French leader, and my normal leader was 0.12. So tippet was 0.12. So is it like 5x or something like that?
Yeah. And what weight rod were you using?
Sandro Solerini's rods. I had 3 similar rods rigged. So 1 to 2, 9.3 feet.
Yeah. Nice.
Actually, I had 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. Yeah.
Nice. We got Ter here from Norway. I think you know.
Yeah.
He said, "Congrats to Santeri on the win. Great stuff to watch. Can't wait to say hello to his funky moustache again." All right. Well, let's just jump over to Dave. Well, we got Dave there. Are you there, Dave?
Hi guys. Hi.
Oh yeah. 45 fish,
Can you hear
mate.
me?
Yep.
Yeah, just look, I got such a great start. Keep it at it, but I may have gone through the water a little bit too fast. I got a little bit excited at the start. I think I got a good run at the start. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting any close to that. But look, 45 is a good number any day of the week. In an hour's fishing, I mean, I can't complain. Congratulations, Santeri. Fantastic fishing. Fair play to you. Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
The conversion rate, Peter was saying 45, and you probably only 48 fish.
Well, I know Peter probably couldn't see all the fish I was missing. I was missing a lot more than that. I was getting some under the water, some tapes. But I'm sure so, look, I just disappointed that I went a little bit too fast through the water. I wasn't going to get 67, but I could have had another 10. I could have made it a little bit closer. 67 is beatable here in Ireland, but you need everything right, and you need to be on top form to beat where Santeri is up there in Finland. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mate, I just wanted to tell you congratulations again making the final, and you have a silver medal coming your way.
Josh, just a second there. Can I just say a big thank you to a number of people. All the fish we own. I can't thank them enough. Kieran Bolt from the Blackwater Mallow there. Fantastic to me. Give me all the Blackwater. Sean Maher here. He's standing behind the team. He's doing everything for me all the week. Right, he's in. Peter Driver, Mark Driver. I could go on, and I know I'm going to forget people. The sponsors, of course, without the sponsors, and of course yourself. You made all this happen. I know Peter was on board with you, but I know I'm leaving out people, and I apologize for that, but I just can't thank people enough. I mean, the support and the help that I've been getting for the last 3 weeks, I just can't say thank you enough. Thanks.
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate that. I know from all the viewers and stuff, I know there's a massive following for you. The old bull over there in Ireland, the Irish, they love their fishing.
Yeah.
One question: how did old bull come about?
Well, it's Mark. Mark is known as the young bull. So Mark has been known as the young bull for quite some time now, because he's got the reputation of trying to go down to all the cows at once. So I just got tagged when I was drawn against Mark down in the first round. I just got tagged the old bull. I haven't. That's only happened since this competition. I've probably been called worse, so it'll probably stick.
Awesome. Well, mate, thank you very much for competing, and well done. Second place, making the grand final of the first ever Fly Fish Live Men's Series, and it's been awesome to watch you fish, and we hope to see you again, mate.
Can I just say as well, Josh, sorry, I got family in America, family in Australia, everybody's tuning in, so thanks very much.
Awesome. Let's just jump back to over to Santeri. Yeah, mate.
Hello.
Well done, buddy.
Thanks.
Fly Fish Live Men's Series. You will be taking home the gold medal. This will be coming your way.
Thank you.
And you've got also an awesome prize from Syndicate Fly Rod coming your way as well. And Giant Luca from over there in Ireland has also chipped in with a cap, a Syndicate cap. He's got some flies, some nymphs inside, and also there was some sunglasses. So well done, mate. Nice little prize there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Josh, for organizing this event. It was really nice in this awkward, terrible situation to have this kind of competition. And also, thanks a lot for all the other competitors, Dave and Peter and Lionel especially. And also the guys there, Tom and Corey, and also Pietari and Jarkko. And of course, thanks for Camilla for filming this. I think she did a great job also.
Yes, it was great work by all the cameramen. Thanks again, mate, and we hope that we will see you again in maybe the next series. See what happens.
Hopefully, and you got to try to get the Camilla, the ladies series.
You've set a record there, 68. That's going to be the record for Fly Fish Live, and that's going to be the score to beat. So anyway, thanks again. Let's head over to Corey, mate, how you feeling? You bit-
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Probably go have some breakfast now.
Nice, mate. We just want to really say a big thanks for jumping on board. Also, throughout the whole tournament, what you've done, competing down there as well, out of season. Also, through the little videos you put through, mate, it's just been absolutely awesome. And just say a big thank you.
My pleasure, and it's just great to share the joy and love of fly fishing that I am so immersed in. And everyone wants to share their loves, tell other people that this is really good stuff. So to be able to show that first time, because I usually leave, go off the river, do my thing, come home, and some of my best mates have no idea what I do.
Yep.
So now that they've had a little taste and other people, it's opened up the world of competitive fly fishing.
Yeah.
So thank you to you. Thank you to all the other competitors. Tom, thanks for your time. Look forward to the next challenge.
We have one more question for you, Corey. Are you out of retirement? I know a lot of New Zealanders over there want to know that question.
Yeah, no, they could. I'm kind of done. I've done everything I ever wanted to do in the sport here in New Zealand. The only probably thing that ever eluded me was a podium finish at the World Championship, and that's kind of dominated by these guys from Europe. So it's always a tough ask. They work really well as a team. They've got good systems in place. So that's always going to be difficult. But in terms of whether I'm coming back competitively, probably not. But to be involved in this was just a great opportunity to do something different and just share my home country, my home turf with the rest of the world at this moment in time.
Awesome, mate. Will we see you possibly in another Fly Fish Live series?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always knew I was up against it when you asked me ages back. I was just like, well, for one, we have no internet coverage anywhere.
Yeah.
Two, it's July. All our rivers are closed except for a few. But it was just super fun. And to get out there and get my blood boiling again and just, mate, the excitement was pretty awesome. It did tickle a few comeback ideas, but no, they're going to wash away. I've got the backcountry calling.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thanks, Heath. Thanks, Heath, for getting up in the morning and tuning in and being there for us. That's awesome. We'll jump over to Tom. Tom, thanks, Heath, mate. I'm really hoping that we'll get to see you in the next series.
Yeah, no. Hey, thanks for having me. No, my pleasure. It's awesome just to be able to watch these guys fish. They're all so good, and like we all learn. Like hopefully everyone watching's learned something and got something out of it. Like it showcased the sport. You see what it's about. You see what's possible with some of these techniques, and like it's just an awesome initiative that you've kind of come up with here. And it hopefully shows everyone, like it's so cool that everyone's on board to share and help each other and showcase their fisheries and, what Finland has to offer, Ireland has to offer, New Zealand. Like, it's just really cool. So,
yeah, awesome. Thanks for that, mate. That was it was awesome to get you on. Thanks for staying up again. Coming back as a second time guest, and that was wicked at 2 o'clock in the morning as well. I think it was. And now,
anytime, mate.
Awesome.
Anytime.
Well, we just want to say from us that we've really enjoyed this tournament, and we've enjoyed watching everyone fish, and all those guys. We want to say a big thanks to everyone that's been involved. So all the competitors, all the viewers. Without the viewers, this tournament wouldn't be what it is. And the best thing about this is to see the viewers even getting into this, and probably more than what we have. It's been outstanding. And also, like we spoke about before, the Fly Fish Live now it's been born. It's Fly Fish Live Series 2 is not too far away, so make sure you stay updated on Ultimate Adventure Fishing and Hunting Facebook page. And any comments or anything like that you want to put in, you can comment under here and we'll take all into consideration, and we want this to go even bigger and better for the next series. So thanks to everyone out there, and congratulations, Santeri. Nice job there, Dave. Absolutely outstanding fishing. And I want to say, on a personal level, I want to say thank you to Peter Driver for helping out. He's done a lot behind the scenes with me just to help out getting everything set up for this tournament. And yeah, so I just want to say a massive thanks to Peter Driver and Piscari Fly. Get behind the sponsors, and we hope to see you guys again in Series 2. And well done, Santeri.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
So.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, everyone. Well fished, boys.
Cheers, guys.